Good afternoon and welcome to your news on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Shehan Ranatunga. Now first, let's take a look at your headlines.
Election Commission and Prime Minister to meet on local government election. CT scan at Karapidia Teaching Hospital malfunctions. Patients severely inconvenienced. Over 250 accidents in 6 days, 25 fatalities, says police. China stages live fire drills for sealing off Taiwan.
Now on to your top story. Sri Lanka's Election Commission met the country's Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena this morning. Now, the meeting at the Prime Minister's office is centred around the local government election.
Recently, the Election Commission addressed a letter to the Prime Minister for a meeting with regard to the local government election, and in response, the Prime Minister had agreed to meet them at 11:30 a.m. on Monday. The Election Commission is expected to inform its position to the Prime Minister over the 2023 local government election. The Election Commission will also raise concerns with regard to the payment of salaries of public sector employees who submitted nominations for the local government election, as the election was continuously delayed. In addition, the Election Commission will meet on Tuesday to reach a final decision on the local government election. It added that repeated requests from the authorities to allocate funds for the 2023 local government election have gone unanswered. It noted that the letter addressed to the President, who is also the Finance Minister, has not received any response. The Election Commission had earlier decided that the 2023 local government election will take place on the 25th of April.
State Minister Sanath Nishantha has noted that he would support an act to prevent terrorism if one is presented.
We formed the government, but the government formed by the people was chased away by the hooligans. We are somewhat disappointed over Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Ranil and us, we have our minor differences, but we respect the way those hooligans were treated. No one can threaten the influence of the people's sovereignty. If an act to prevent terrorism is brought, we will welcome it with the open arms and stand for it.
Activists from the People's Struggle organised a forum on national reforms in Colombo.
The Golface chapter is now over. There's no point in celebrating it at the Golface. We need to focus on what needs to be done in the future. There is no point in designating the struggle with a plot of land. There is a need to have a broader discussion on changing the social system of Sri Lanka. There needs to be a discussion on restructuring the constitution. In that, the devolution of powers and equal opportunities can be discussed. Also, we need to discuss the economic reforms we need to achieve to become a developed nation. After a struggle, we have to await the counter-revolution. It's being implemented right now with a lot of planning. The President said the other day that tourists did not come to Sri Lanka because the people were out on the streets. It was in January when the people in Canada were asked not to go to Sri Lanka because there is no food. It was in March when people started to die in fuel queues. But the history is written in a way that the economy collapsed and tourism dropped because the people of Sri Lanka took to the streets. Even if Anuru Dissanayake was elected as the president that day, or even if Sajith Premadasa, or if anyone else was the president, we should support the rightful decisions they make. But every time the rights of the people of this country are violated and suppressed, we should stand up like we stand against Ranil Wickremesinghe in every attempt he makes to destruct the democracy. We must give the opportunity to implement the measures taken for economic stabilization.
විනාශකාරී පියවරන් අපි සියලුම අවස්ථාවලදී ඊට විරුද්ධව නැගී ඉන්නවා වගේම ආර්ථික ස්ථායීකරණය සඳහා ගන්නු ලබන නිවැරදි තීරණවලදී අපි මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ඒ අවස්ථාව දෙන්න.
Now in other news, the Professionals Trade Union Collective will meet this evening in Colombo to decide on future trade union action.
Spokesperson for the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Chamil Vijay Singha, told News First that the anti-terrorism bill, tax policy, among other matters, will be taken up for discussion at the meeting.
මේ ආණ්ඩුව විසින් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරමින් තියෙන මතභේදාත්මක සහ රටට හානිකර ප්‍රතිපත්තීන් නැවත හරවා ඒ වෙනුවට
The damaging policies implemented by this government must be turned around, and the policies that are beneficial to the country should be implemented. This is why all these trade unions have come together irrespective of party politics and differences of opinion. Accordingly, a number of steps in this regard are currently underway. The meeting organized by the Professionals Trade Union Collective is scheduled to be held today at 2:30 p.m. at the Western Province Aesthetic Resort. For this purpose, all the professionals from all sectors, employees, trade union representatives and civil society activists representing all regions of this country will assemble today. The unjust tax policies, the Anti-Terrorism Act and the government's repressive acts that stems from it, the sale of state-owned enterprises, problems faced by the people from high inflation, plans will be made on these matters. The meeting will also discuss the future course of action by the Professionals Trade Union Collective.
ඒ වගේම වෘත්තීය සමිති එකමුතුව තුළ වෘත්තීය වේදින්ගේ වෘත්තීය සමිති එකමුතුව විදිහට කොහොමද ඉදිරියට වැඩ කටයුතු කරන්න කියන කාරණේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් සාකච්ඡා කරන්නත් අද දහවල් 2ට වෘත්තීය වේදින්ගේ වෘත්තීය සමිති එකමුතුවේ විශේෂ සාකච්ඡාවක් කැඳවලා තියෙනවා.
The 2023 World Bank Group IMF spring meetings are currently taking place in Washington in the USA. The spring meetings will continue until the 16th of this month.
State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinghe is to participate in the 2023 World Bank Group IMF spring meetings representing Sri Lanka. The State Minister says that he will meet the officials of the International Monetary Fund and hold bilateral discussions regarding the future programs of the country during the spring meetings. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund's Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva and World Bank President David Malpass are scheduled to speak virtually at a joint seminar on the way forward, building resilience and reshaping development.
Now, 2 CT scan devices at the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital have malfunctioned and thus caused serious inconveniences to the patients. The Deputy Chairman of the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital Committee, that's Chatura Valivitiya, told News First that the situation had placed the hospital staff and the administration in a difficult position.
More than 5,000 patients visit the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital daily for treatment. For the CT scan, around 10 patients are directed daily, and following the 2 devices malfunctioning, patients have been compelled to seek the services from private hospitals. The Karapitiya Teaching Hospital Committee noted that patients have to bear a massive cost for the scan at private hospitals.
News First with the people.
Sri Lanka's Transport Minister Bandulu Gunawardena has assured that if Sri Lanka's Transport Board can generate revenue to cover its costs by the year 2025, the SLTB will not be privatised.
25 buses were delivered to the SLTB depots in the Uva province.
ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳුවා නෙමෙයි. ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳීම සඳහා ආරම්භයක් ලබා ගැනීම පමණයි මේ සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳ ගන්න ඉතා විශාල කැපවීම ප්‍රමාණයක් අපි සියලු දෙනා විසින් කළ යුතු වෙනවා.
But all expect to make sacrifices to solve the issue. We can only create a prosperous future if we work more. Therefore, some of the reforms might hurt when they are implemented. This is a technical matter and not something that can be done based on emotions. If state-owned enterprises and statutory boards are making losses, the government cannot continue to take over the burden. Earlier, when the SLTB made losses and was unable to pay the salaries, the government chipped in. But when you make requests for funds now, the Treasury will not provide the funds. All the SLTB depots must reach a level where they can cover the costs by 2025, even if they do not make profits. If that is achieved, the SLTB will not be privatized, and I assure you of that.
ලංකා ගමනාගමන මණ්ඩලය අපි පුද්ගලීකරණය කරන්නේ නැතය කියන එක මම තමුන්නාන්සේලාට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී සාතිකයක් ලබා දෙනවා.
Police say that a significant increase in motor accidents are reported during the holiday season. The police said that over the past 6 days, approximately 265 motor accidents had taken place across the country, resulting in deaths of 25 people.
A collision between a train and a car took place in Bulugahagoda in Gampaha on Monday morning. The train was heading from Colombo to Kandy and the collision took place when the car moved onto the tracks. The incident had taken place at a level crossing located between the Batuwatta and Bulugahagoda train station, and it was reported that the car had disregarded the warning signs indicated an incoming train. A foreign national was injured in a motorcycle accident on Monday morning close to the Kumbrugamuwa Wever on the Gaul Mathura main road. The police said the accident was the result of a head-on collision between a motorcycle and a tractor. The injured foreign national was driving the motorcycle and the police said that he did not possess a driver's license. Police further added that the cause of the accident was speeding on the part of the motorcyclist. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Talduwa told News First that these accidents were reported from the 4th to the 9th of April 2023. He said that 25 people lost their lives in these motor accidents with an average of 5 deaths per day. The police spokesperson urged motorists to refrain from driving under the influence and speeding, as driving under such conditions puts the lives of the person behind the wheeler, passengers, fellow motorists and pedestrians at risk. He urged motorists to exercise extra caution during the festive holiday season and urged pedestrians to also pay close attention to their surroundings and always stick to the pavement. A 17-year-old boy drowned while swimming in the Polgola Reservoir on Sunday. He had gone for a swim with 5 others. Another 13-year-old boy who was rescued is currently being treated at the ICU of the Kandy General Hospital. Sri Lanka police said both teenagers were residents of Nittawela. Moreover, a 21-year-old man remains missing after he went for a swim in the Sitavaka River in Avissabella.
Sri Lanka Life Saving says that there is an increase in water-related accidents these days. Its president Asanka Nanayakkara said that bathing in unsafe places during the holiday season attributed to the rise in accidents.
People attempt to go for a swim at locations they are used to, but these unnatural water bodies are subject to change continuously, especially with the heat waves and the continuous change that occur in the climate. Even if it is a location that you are used to swimming, please note that the currents always change. Therefore, please exercise caution when taking a swim in such locations. One should always be ready in case of an emergency that requires someone to be rescued. Do not conduct yourselves in a way that could harm yourselves or others.
Now in other news, the Consumer Affairs Authority says that legal action has been taken against over 1,500 traders for multiple offences, including the sale of products at exorbitant prices and for concealing stocks.
The Consumer Affairs Authority said it increased the number of raids during the festive holiday season to trace traders who sell food items that are not suitable for consumption, products at exorbitant prices and for concealing stocks. It added that all CAA officers have been instructed to pay close attention to the sale of eggs, noting that poultry farms will also be raided in the future. The Consumer Affairs Authority said that special teams were deployed to conduct raids during the festive holiday season. It added that the Consumer Affairs Authority officers are even taking part in raids during the holidays and at night.
The National Democratic Alliance said that restaurant owners must pass the benefit of the essential items price reduction to the consumers.
හෝටල් හිමියන්ගෙන් ඉල්ලන අවසාන ඉල්ලීම තමයි මේ අපි කරුණා කරලා මේ වෙලාවේ භාණ්ඩ මිල අඩුවීමේ වාසිය පාරිභෝගික ලබා.
This is our final appeal to the restaurant owners. The benefit of the price reduction must be given to the consumers. If that cannot be adopted, we will request the PHIs across the country to charge through the staff-only area of all the restaurants. Such notices are placed on the doors to the restaurant kitchens because malpractices take place inside. I will reveal this if you fail to pass the benefits to the consumers. At night, mice invade these restaurants. The PHIs are not exposing this to the country.
මේ වගේ පත මීයෝ තමයි රෑ 11න් පස්සේ මුළු වාපන ශාලාවම අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. PH අයට කොන්දක් නැහැ.
Now, we're just a few days away from the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, but despite this, our farmers continue to face severe hardships. Soybean farmers in the Anuradhapura district have been deprived of a proper harvest during the recent harvest season due to the fertilizer crisis and the fuel shortage. Despite having had high hopes for this farming season, these farmers point out that the sudden increase in the price of seeds had placed them in a difficult position. Farmers say that many from their communities have abandoned their cultivations.
The Mahaweli authority says that it lacks funds and requests money from the farmers to provide the seeds. The farmers are in a tough position. We cannot settle dues without the seeds. Price is around 560 rupees and they want 230 rupees. During the cultivation period, the price drops. We never receive a proper price. A trader will visit the cultivation and take away everything for a very low price. The country is based on agriculture and all these rulers care about is the commission.
It is reported that a massive deforestation had taken place on the western slopes of the Hanthana mountain range, an area rich in biodiversity. The Hanthana mountain range is a delightful set of hilltops which are stunning with lush panoramic views, located close to the city of Kandy, and it was declared as an environmental protection area via a gazette in 2010. In recent times, multiple reports surfaced about massive destruction caused to the forest area, which is rich in biodiversity. For almost a week, valuable trees located on the western slopes of the Hanthana mountain range have been cut down. The Hanthana Protection Movement filed a complaint with the Kandy police against the destruction caused to this sensitive environment, and as a result, police were able to seize a tipper truck and equipment used to cut down the trees. Now in news overseas, the BBC is seeking swift resolution after Twitter branded it as government-funded media. The @BBC account, which has 2.2 million followers, is currently branded as government-funded. The label has not been given to the BBC's other accounts, including BBC News World and BBC Breaking News. Britain's national broadcaster is predominantly funded by UK households via a license fee, which is also required to watch non-BBC channels or live services. This is supplemented by income from commercial operations. Twitter has not given a definition of what it considers government-funded media to constitute. As the UK's national broadcaster, the BBC operates through a royal charter agreed with the government. The BBC charter states that the corporation must be independent, particularly over editorial and creative decisions, the times and manner in which its output and services are supplied, and in the management of its affairs. Twitter's new labeling of the BBC's account comes after it did the same to US public broadcaster NPR's handle. Thousands of people took to the streets of Georgia's capital Tbilisi yesterday to voice their opposition to the ruling government. The protest was organized by the main opposition party and focused on the imprisonment of former president Mikhail Saakashvili. Critics accuse the Georgian Dream Party, which currently holds power, of being too closely aligned with Russia and failing to uphold democratic values. The government has been accused of silencing independent media and imprisoning political opponents. Former President Saakashvili, who served 2 terms from 2004 to 2013, is currently serving a 6-year jail term for abuse of power. However, international rights groups have condemned his conviction as politically motivated. Last month, protests led to the government withdrawing a bill that would have required NGOs receiving foreign funding to register as agents of foreign influence. The move was seen as an attempt to crack down on civil society and limit the influence of international organizations. The protest on Sunday reflects growing frustration with the current government and its policies. Many in Georgia are calling for greater transparency and a renewed commitment to democratic values. Still in news overseas, China was due to hold live fire drills today to round off 3 days of military exercises in response to Taiwan's president meeting with the US House Speaker.
Into the maritime areas and airspace around all four sides of Taiwan.
Now it's some cricket news. The Sunrisers Hyderabad registered their first win of the season, beating the Punjab Kings by 8 wickets in their IPL match on Sunday. Now skipper Shikhar Dhawan slammed an unbeaten 99 off 66 balls to single-handedly take Punjab Kings to 143 for 9. Dhawan played a lone hand, hitting 12 fours and 5 sixes, while Sam Curran was the other batsman to reach double digits, as other Punjab Kings batters cut a sorry figure after being asked to take first strike. Mayank Markan capped 4 wickets, while the pace duo of Marco Jansen and Umar Malik took 2 wickets each. Chasing 144 to win, Rahul Tripathi smashed a 48-ball 74 not out, while adding a match-winning unbeaten 100 off 52 balls with skipper Aiden Markram for the 3rd wicket, as the Sunrisers Hyderabad romped home with 17 balls to spare. And with that, we wrap up the news for now. Thank you for watching.